Ever heard of a group of 7 companies so powerful they can move the entire global stock market? They're called the Magnificent Seven, and in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what they are, why they have more economic power than entire countries, and how they directly impact your life, your wallet, and your future. We LL cover everything from their explosive growth and technological dominance to the hidden risks that could shake the world economy. Stick around, because understanding the MAG7 is crucial to understanding modern finance. The term Magnificent 7 inches sounds like something out of a Hollywood blockbuster, and in a way, it is. It was coined by market analysts in 2023, referencing the classic movie where 7 heroes ride in to save the day. In this case, the heroes are 7 of the largest and most influential tech companies in the world: Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, that's Google's parent company, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta Platforms, think Facebook and Instagram, and Tesla. Why saved the day? Because as broader economic fears were swirling, the explosive growth of these 7 companies single-handedly propped up the stock market, delivering the lion's share of its gains. So, why is this group so important? It boils down to sheer size and influence. Imagine the entire S&P 500 index, which represents 500 of the largest US companies. The Magnificent 7 alone make up over 30% of its total value. That's an incredible concentration of power. In 2023 and 2024, they were responsible for more than 70% of the S&P 500's total growth. They are the pioneers of the technologies that define our era: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, electric vehicles, and the digital world we live in. To put their economic might into perspective, their combined market value is over $13 trillion. That's more than the entire economy of China or the biggest economies in the European Union combined. They aren't just companies anymore. They're massive economic forces shaping jobs, technology, and global markets. From an investment standpoint, the MAG7 have been a story of incredible growth, but also one of significant risk. Between 2020 and 2024, their stock prices skyrocketed, with an average increase of over 250%. Nvidia, for example, saw a meteoric rise thanks to the global demand for its AI chips. Together, these 7 giants generate over $1.5 trillion in annual revenue and rake in more than $300 billion in pure profit. Because of this, huge institutional investors like pension funds and ETFs are heavily invested in them. This means the performance of these 7 stocks directly affects the retirement savings of millions of people around the world. When the MAG7 rally, the whole market tends to go up with them. But if they stumble, the shockwaves are felt in portfolios everywhere. The secret sauce behind their success is technology, specifically artificial intelligence. Each member of the MAG7 is a dominant player in the AI revolution. Nvidia creates the powerful GPUs, the essential hardware for machine learning. Microsoft is integrating AI into everything through its partnership with OpenAI Alphabet's. Google is a leader in AI infrastructure and search. Amazon uses AI to power its massive logistics network and AWS cloud services. Apple embeds machine learning into the iPhones and devices we use daily. Meta is building AI tools for its social platforms and the future metaverse, and Tesla is at the forefront of AI with its autonomous driving technology. They are literally building the infrastructure for our digital future, influencing everything from how we shop to how we communicate. So, who is actually impacted by the Magnificent Seven? The short answer is everyone. If you're an investor, your 401k or pension fund is almost certainly heavily weighted toward these stocks. As a consumer, you probably use a product from at least one of these companies every single day, whether it's searching on Google, scrolling through Instagram, or using Microsoft Office. They employ over 2 million people worldwide, creating high-paying jobs in the tech sector. Even governments are deeply affected. They rely on the tax revenue from these giants, but also grapple with regulating them to prevent monopolies and protect user data. And for small businesses, these companies are both a blessing and a curse, providing platforms like Amazon's Marketplace or Meta's ads to reach customers, but also holding immense power over their success. While their dominance has fueled incredible market growth, it also creates serious risks. First, there's market concentration. When the fate of the entire global stock market rests on the shoulders of just a few companies, it creates a fragile and historically risky situation. Then there's valuation risk. Many analysts worry that these stocks are trading at prices far above their historical averages, which raises concerns about a potential market bubble. Regulatory pressure is another major threat. Governments in the US and Europe are scrutinizing them for anti-competitive behavior, which could lead to massive fines or even force them to break up. And ironically, their greatest strength, AI, could also be their undoing, as new innovations could disrupt their current monopolies. If these giants were to fall, the ripple effects could be felt worldwide. The rise of the MAG7 signals a huge shift in our economy. We've moved from an industrial economy, where value was in factories and physical goods, to a tech capital economy where intangible assets like data, algorithms, and brand ecosystems are king. This leads to a massive concentration of wealth in the hands of a few digital platforms. While this creates opportunities, it also drives inequality. It can stifle competition from smaller innovators and create a widening gap between high-paying tech jobs and other sectors. We're seeing a new kind of economic hierarchy, one defined by technology and network effects. This transformation is a huge topic for policymakers and economists. For economists, the MAG7 show how corporate profits are now driven by intellectual property rather than physical assets. Their global digital operations also challenge traditional tax and trade rules. Central banks watch them closely because their market value can influence consumer spending and business investment. For policymakers, this raises urgent questions about fair competition, economic equity, and even national security. In a world where data is power, the dominance of these companies has become a geopolitical issue, and their influence doesn't stop at the US border. The MAG7's reach is truly global. They shape international supply chains for critical components like semiconductors. They dominate the world's cloud infrastructure with services like Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. They influence media and culture through platforms like YouTube and Instagram. Because their stock values are so high, they heavily influence global index funds, which means stock markets from Tokyo to London often move in sync with what's happening in Silicon Valley. No group of companies in history has ever wielded this much financial and technological power on a global scale. To wrap it all up, the Magnificent Seven aren't just a group of successful stocks, they are the fundamental architects of our modern digital economy. They are driving innovation, shaping financial markets, and touching the daily lives of billions. Their incredible success story is the very definition of 21st century technological capitalism. But their overwhelming dominance also forces us to ask tough questions about the sustainability of this growth, economic fairness, and the resilience of a system so dependent on so few. Whether they continue to lift the markets to new heights or eventually trigger a major correction. One thing is certain, the Magnificent Seven will be the defining story of finance and technology for years to come. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this breakdown gave you a clear picture of what the Magnificent Seven is all about. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. We've got a lot more exciting content coming your way. See you in the next video.